I don't know how this mangaka does it, but clearly this mangaka is really breaking the shonen cliches, and also continues to show quality writing. The writing in this chapter, like, okay, don't get me wrong, the All Might versus All for One, that right there, it makes me jump for joy, and I'm internally fangasming right now. But that is nothing. That is absolutely nothing in comparison to what happened with the plan that Izuku thought of. What he did to save Bakugo. That writing right there. That motherfucking writing right there. That writing that this mangaka just did. Like, it probably flew over everybody's heads, and probably not many probably cared about it. Maybe they're just happy that Bakugo was saved. But there's so much meaning there that just blew me up. Like, my head just fucking exploded, because I've talked about this for a very long time. I've talked about Izuku's mind. I've talked about that a lot since the beginning of the series, when the manga first came out. He was so different from a regular shonen character. Once again, we see inside of Deku's mind what he currently thinks, and how he overcomes the situation, or the bad hand he has been dealt, to deal with what he is currently facing. He turned a situation that was absolutely some of the worst situations you could possibly be in at this time into something rather good. Something that actually turned out to be good at this point. His thinking skills of what he did. Like, let me just go to these pages, okay? I'll get into the All Might versus All for One fight. I will get into that, but I gotta talk about, like, one of the best moments of the fucking chapter. As Izuku's thinking in his mind, he has this, like, visual, like, this image in his brain, and you see how there's, like, little pins or pegs all around on this little board. And he's thinking a plan. You see these little paths all around going to these different locations of how Izuku or anyone else could react. For instance, it's like different people here can react to these villains and take them down before they could save Bakugo. And you can see the different lines and paths they can do throughout the entire thing to get to Bakugo. Like, what's the safest path? What's the easiest path? There's 6 people, and then we also have 6 people. That means it'd be 1v1v1v1 if we all went into fighting. But then we also have to factor in that we have that, deal, and what I said to, 1A, that we will not get into a fight, we will not fight, and they had that entire discussion and morals and stuff at the beginning of this arc, and Izuku was thinking about this in his mind, and he thought of a plan that just absolutely blew my mind away. He used everybody's abilities. Like, let me just go through this, okay? Okay, we'll break through the wall using Kirishima's hardening. But he used Ida, and then Izuku used his own speed, like his power, to be able to jump and move fast enough. And then they broke through the wall with Kirishima's hardening. As they did that, Todoroki put his eye straight up to where, they could slide. And then as they were going upward and about to fall, you have to where Kirishima, he would have to reach out his hand to grab Bakugo. And that moment right there, that's the best moment of this plan. Because this is something that only someone like Izuku could accomplish. Because it's part of his character. Izuku's always been very observant. He's observed villains, heroes. He's observed a lot of characters. He knows some of their actions and what they do. And one of the people that he really observes a lot is one of his close friends in his mind, Bakugo. And he knows how a lot of the people he spends time with, how they act or how they, act to certain people. But when he realizes that Kirishima has a better standing than Bakugo than himself, he decides to say, Kirishima, you're the only one here amongst all of us that could actually save Bakugo. If it was Momo to reach out her hand, if it was Ida, if it was Todoroki, if it was me, Bakugo would turn that hand down. It would not be satisfied. He would not come. But the only person here that Bakugo would willingly grab their hand would be Kirishima. because they've been built up as equals since the beginning of the manga. And I just cannot believe the way this character trait of Kirishima and Bakugo, the way this friendship is slowly formed between these two characters, how it has actually led to this point of the series. And it blows me away with the quality writing here, the way Kirishima's character was used to save Bakugo, and how Izuku set aside him just rushing in trying to save someone. He set aside that, and he realized he can't be the one to do that. He thought what was best for Bakugo, and he allowed Kirishima to reach his hand out and say, come. That right there, I just gotta say, fucking Izuku, your brain right now, your mind, oh my god. Oh my god. The way he saved him, that moment, Bakugo just reaches his hand up and he grabs him, yo, fucking go. And everybody was saying, some were saying that he might turn into a villain and become a Sasuke ripoff. What now? He's not. Oh. No, there's still a possibility he could be captured and all that. I'm not going to throw that out the window. I mean, anything can happen right now because there's a big fight. But still, at this time, with the end of this chapter, what just happened, with Bakugo being saved without fighting, it just makes me have a smile. So, enough of that. Let's get into the actual fight now, okay? So, this fight is so hype because it's been built up for a while. But also, this is the first time we've actually seen All Might go into a fight like this serious. I mean, we've seen the Nomu fight and stuff, but that was nothing compared to what we're witnessing right now. This is like the in-game villain boss. So that's what's going on here, because All For One has been built up to be the final villain. He is here, All Might is here, and they're both beating the fucking shit out of each other. Like, the last chapter ended off All Might coming in from a very far distance, which we get clarification on how far that was, and maybe some of you smarter Chibis can estimate how fast All Might was going, because from what we found out, let me get into the details here. I'll read the actual description for you can all understand. So apparently, All Might, he went from the starting location to when he started going after All For One, and it took him 30 seconds to get there. Now let me read this actual paragraph here, or this, this line, this dialogue line. The bar isn't more than 5 kilometers away from here. 5 kilometers, okay? 5 kilometers away from this location. That's where the bar was, where the Nomus were, and All Might was inside of there. It took well over 30 seconds after I sent the Nomu for you to arrive. You've gone soft, huh, All Might? Okay, so what this is saying here is that at the start, when the Nomus arrived out, like when they were coming out of the sludge, okay? That's when the timer started to tick, okay? That's when the timer all began. Now, if we think about this, this was all in a 30-second interval. That's all that was going on, 30 seconds. And All Might was talking, and he was dealing with some Nomu there, and he was trying to save Bakugo, and then, he talked to, Endeavor a little bit, and then he went off. So, let's just give an estimate of a good 10 seconds, okay? Let's just give a rough 10 seconds it took All Might to do all that. Maybe 5, if we're being lenient, but I highly doubt he can go for a conversation in 5 seconds with all that shit going on. So, let's just say 10 seconds, just for a good leeway. So, 10 seconds All Might took. And then, as soon as that was done, he leaped from that location to where he is right now with full power. We gotta factor in how fast he had to be going. 5 kilometers is a pretty fucking big distance, okay? Going that damn fast in under 30 seconds. So, he had full power, 2 fucking fists, going that fast, and rammed right into All For One, and All For One stopped him. Going that fucking fast. Now, like I said, some of you smarter Chibits might be able to estimate how fast All Might was going and figure out, holy shit, that's how fast he was going when he hit him, and you can imagine the power and the force behind his punch when he hit, calculating, how All Might's punch is when he's just standing still. It's ridiculous. So, All For One, his physical strength is astounding. So, All Might's speed being that fast, and apparently he's gone soft. He's gone soft. Like, no fucking joke. All For One says, you've gone soft, huh, All Might? So this, once again, proves that All Might was even more ridiculous than this when he was in his prime. Imagine how powerful he was. Holy shit. So, throwing that to the side now, this fight is pretty much up in the air of whatever is going to happen. I mean, right now from what we see, All For One has the advantage. I mean, he has so many different abilities under his belt that he could do. All Might pretty much just has his physical strength. And I'm not saying All Might doesn't have a chance. I'm just saying, when it comes to the abilities that All For One has, he has more variety. He has different type of situations and tactics he can use against, you know, All Might to take him down. And we get to see examples of some of these abilities, of how All For One mixes these abilities together to be able to take down All Might. For instance, he uses these type of abilities. He, like, just shoves him completely back through multiple skyscrapers. It's like a huge-ass distance from the location where All For One shot All Might. And here's the thing. This entire explosion, looking at it, like the radius of this, and comparing it to the chapter beforehand, when we saw what happened with All For One when he demonstrated his ability and he knocked everybody back in Genist, this radius, how far he pushed All Might back, looks way bigger. Way fucking bigger than what happened to Mount Lady and them. That's exactly what this looks like. So, All Might got knocked the fuck out. Like, he got just rammed completely back way further than Mount Lady, Genist, and all of them. So that's crazy right there. And imagine all the people that were probably killed in this blast. I mean, you're not gonna tell me someone didn't die while being flung back like that. All Might had to hit something, or at the very least when he hit some support beams or something when he was flying through skyscrapers, when those buildings are toppling down, you know for a fact probably someone died. So, the Hero Association, they're gonna get some major shit after this. And I mean, it's already to be expected, but that right there, that's not good. That's not good at all. Anyways, looking at the abilities that were revealed, apparently this is what All For One used when he actually took down All Might right there, when he pushed him back. He used Atmospheric Compression, plus Locomotive Corkscrew, Explosiveness ×4, Muscular Enhancement ×3, and then he's like, this combo is pretty fun, I need to get more abilities like this. So, he can mix multiple abilities together and use them at once. And if you factor all that in, it kind of explains now how he's able to go after All Might and kind of, you know, defeat him a little bit, or at the very least hold back his power when he came in at full force. It makes you wonder, what exactly did he use to withstand All Might's punches? That's what I'm curious about. What did he really use? Anyways, overall, this chapter reveals one last detail I need to talk about. All For One can force activate a quirk. He has the ability to force activation even if the person is unconscious. He can forcibly activate someone's quirk. That's dangerous. That is very, very, very dangerous. That is very fucking dangerous. Force activation? I don't even begin to imagine what type of abilities he could possibly force to activate that we have yet to see that he could cause some bad damage. If he had, like, the ability to mind control, and then he can use force activation on to force them to use their abilities, or if he could, you know, use them like a puppet, like manipulate their body in a way, and then use force activation on them, you can imagine how powerful that would be, that combination. So, All For One is being built up as a very good villain. The characterization for him is really good. All Might, I'm worried about him. He is in a very bad spot. At the very least, Bakugo has been saved, so All Might can go all out now. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.